Hello there. Welcome to this next episode in the walkthrough on creating striking Grimbone for Foundry VTT. This is a Pathfinder second edition of the game. And last time we stopped halfway through the Sage's Tower because I wanted particularly to pause and then explain something about creating creatures from scratch. We had the Hobgoblin, the grumpy character there, who's the servant of Parthan the Sage. And now we're going to create a monster from scratch, Parthan the Sage. In previous games and previous editions, we tended to create NPCs in the same way as we created player characters. But in Pathfinder 2nd edition, that's different. We create an NPC that's designed to be a challenge to the party. So, we need to create a new character, a new NPC. We start from scratch here rather than go into the compendium. And it's called Parthan. Parthan the Sage, and he's an NPC from scratch. So let's give him an appearance. Old Sage. Nicely looking character, and we'll give him a token thanks to Tokenizer. Let's give him a more suitable frame and magic. I think a nice blue colour would be good, and got some runes on it. Unlock it there. Focus on his head. So we've got the appearance, now we need to do the character. Everything here is baseline. So we want to make him level 6. And that will change precisely nothing because we're doing this from scratch. So the way I do this is to go to the rules, surprisingly enough. And I'll bring up our nice version of the rules here. This is Archives of Nethys, and it's building creatures. So this can be obtained from just going to the rules section of Archives of Nethys, all rules, and then finding GM core, all finally available for free courtesy of Pfizer and Archives of Nethys. So we'll scroll down, and the first thing we do, we've already had the concept, it's the Sage, is the ability modifier scores, which is actually the least important. So for a 6th level character, extreme would be +7, high would be +5, moderate would be +4, and low would be +2. And generally, we want to pick highs and moderates, and then perhaps have one extreme. I think our extreme one will obviously be some kind of lore skill for this Sage, and he might be low in some physical attributes. So we'll have a mixture of high, moderates, and lows, which should be 5, 4s, and 2s for the ability scores. So that you can see the right map as well. So 2 for strength, but let's make it terrible, let's make it 0 for strength. 2 for dex, 2 for con, 5, 4, and 2. That's the ability scores. Now we'll go to the next thing. Which is perception. I don't think he's a particularly perceptive character, so we'll just give him low, +11 on perception. Just level there. what's next? Skills. So plus 18 would be his extreme skill for Arcana and occultism, so we say, and Thessalonian law, which would be our own unique skill. So let's say 18 for Thessalonian law, 15 for some of those other occult knowledges, and then we can go down, looks like odd numbers down there. We don't really need, he's unlikely to be using skills. We would just say he's untrained in athletics or acrobatics if it comes to that. So our skills, we have Arcana, 15, and we'll have occultism at 15. Nature at 15. Religion at say doesn't know so much about that, 11. And then it will have society. And our law skill, Thessalonian law, and these are updated here. We've got acrobatics plus 0, let's get rid of that. That's our skills. What's next? Safe items. So we go to either he's level 8, a +1 striking weapon is a safe item, but I think we'll give him a +1 striking stuff anyway, because the players are probably going to be 3rd or 4th level by the time they would think about trying to fight this sage, and I think it'd be nice to give him a +1 striking. So let's go into inventory, weapons and shields, staff, and then we'll edit it, details, so a potency rune +1 and a striking rune of normal striking, where there are revolt pieces. And what we can do is if we do this lightning bolt, it'll generate an attack. So now when we go to main, we've got staff there. Now we might want to change this, but that's our basic attack there. What's next? Armor class. We got that to be terrible. It's a squishy. Not squishy mage, squishy sage, even more squishy than mage. 21. Let's see if we can remember two things at once. 21 armor class, and saving throws, which is essentially almost the equivalent. So at 6th level, we can have +17 for will, and maybe +11 for the other two. So we've got +17, +11 for the other two, and it was 21 armor class, which is equivalent to +11, isn't it? So let's go back into Foundry. 21, 11, 11, and what did we say? 17. And you can see that, so I'll show it to you now. Armor class 21, fortitude +11, reflex +11, wisdom, will +17. So back to Google. What's next? So hit points, so we want this to be low. Let's make it right at the bottom end, 67. There's no resistances and weaknesses. Strike attack bonus, you want this to be poor, say plus 12. So we've got 67 hit points and plus 12 on your strike. Make sure you can see it. And then not plus 16, we'll edit that. And it is striking, and fine to keep it at plus 2 there. Well, actually, maybe we'll do the damage properly. So plus 12, plus 7, plus 2 is all done automatically. We'll look at the damage here. Go back into the damage. So at 6th level, you've got 2d4 plus 7 is our low count, so we'll just follow the rules and do that. 2d4 plus 7. Okay, and I'll just do that so you can see it. I put in 2d4 plus 7 there. What's next? Spells. We're going to have the sage make the sage have a limited repertoire, and we'll say that he can't actually cast spells. He can use scrolls. And we'll say that he has a scroll of fireball, of lightning bolts. So essentially we'll just give him the lightning bolt. We'll set check his spell DC, which will have this high, which will be 24. So we'll just remember that his spell DC is 24. Visualize Foundry. Spells. And we'll just say it's prepared. And we want to give him some lightning bolts. Third rank. Well, give him 3. And he's not a general magic user. If he was, I'd give him a cantrip. We would set the damage accordingly, but I think this is enough in him because he's not primarily a combat character. But I hope that's been helpful in illustrating how one can create a monster from scratch. Again, we don't need to create a PC and change it to an NPC. We can just use the stats and abilities that we want to use. We will, I need to set that, and then if there was an area of effect damage, if we were just following the rules, we would give him for limited use 7d6. So if someone's doing lightning bolts, I'm feeling it's 4D12, but I'll have to check. But 4D12 doesn't sound that dissimilar from 7D6, so it's not balanced. And then if we were to continue onward, talking about choosing traits and typical traits of different classes of monster. But for our purposes, we probably finished on the area damage there for some spell-like ability, whether it be constant, like a cantrip, where you could fire it out luminously, or in this case, a scroll which is limited and higher damage. So where do we have the DC? 24. So that's him. Token works. So we'll go to our journal now. Grimburn Encounters and Sage's Tower. Because we do a heading here, entering the tower.
I think my sound is suddenly going to be better. Then we'll have upstairs. Actually, downstairs. Downstairs, down the spiral stairs from the entrance chamber is a storeroom. Full of mundane items. Basement, upstairs. Upstairs is another large chamber, the full 40 feet diameter of the tower, with bookcases lining the curved walls from floor to ceiling. We'll just view that. With bookcases lining the walls from floor to ceiling, desks and tables piled with more books, an arcane circle inscribed on the floor, and a four-poster bed. The spiral stair continues up to the battlement via a trapdoor in the ceiling. The trapdoor is locked with the same stats as the tower's front door. If PCs have reached the upstairs chamber by stealth or without violence, they see a wizened old man with a long grey beard and goggle-like spectacles at the large desk, writing in an enormous tome. He seems unaware of the PCs, but speaks without interrupting his work. I presume there is a reason for your unwanted presence. Parthan feigns boredom and irritation, but is curious about the PCs, impressed that they have reached his private quarters, past the hobgoblin. He is thoroughly amoral and will only help them for profit. He will charge 20 gold pieces for a minor piece of information about the Grimbone situation, 100 gold pieces for a major piece. He will not listen to arguments about the benefits to the town or to his own security of cooperating more generously. And we'll do his stats. Actually, no, we'll do his stats at the end. The major pieces of information of path unknowns are, let's list these. I'll bring it up here to see it more easily. Change this formatting. Oh, this hasn't worked. Let's change these and we'll paste them individually. Point. The Night of Terror was not conducted by devils, but by more mundane creatures covered by illusion magic. This is part of a wider campaign of kidnappings. Parthan does not know who is behind this or their motives, as it does not concern his field of research, which is Thessalonia. The silver mine is not a mine but merely an unearthed ancient storehouse dating from Thessalonian times. It is now running dry. There is an ancient Thessalonian city somewhere in the swamp south of Grimbone's quarry, but its exact location is hidden by magical means. Parthan is frustratingly unable to investigate further without risking revealing too much to the townsfolk. If the latter were out of the way, Parthan's research might progress more smoothly. So he wouldn't mind there being a deserted town, all for the sake of his research. There are various Thessalonian ruins in Ashwood that remain unexplored. One lies only 5 miles southeast of Grimbone, but its entrance is barred by magic, probably a runestone key. And finally, one of the ancient Thessalonians' most fascinating advances was the ability to produce a spark of human intelligence in suitable animal subjects, effectively transforming such creatures into more useful human slaves, bearing the particular physical, if not behavioural characteristics of their animal origins. It is said that beings resembling anything from minotaurs, from cows, to gnolls, from dogs, and orcs, from pigs, could be fashioned in this way. So we'll end the bullet list. And minor pieces of information include background snippets of Thessalonian lore, local lore, or knowledge that could be gained from other residents of Grimbone, including the presence of a werewolf, vampire, and a ghoul plague, as well as minor details about Ashwood encounters and random encounters. Parthan is a sage with the wizard archetype, so he can cast Identify Magic and Detect Magic at will. We can just roleplay that. He can also use scrolls using his spellcasting modifier, well, we've changed that. And on his person are 3 5th level and on his person are 3 5th level lightning bolt spells. Parthan will avoid combat if possible, fleeing by using an invisibility scroll, which again we can roleplay if the encounters are going against him. He might seek revenge at a later time when the odds are more to his advantage and when he can make sure his treasured library can be retrieved safely. Why don't we add the invisibility? I think just so that possibly the PCs might get themselves that scroll if they defeat him. So we'll add the scrolls here, consumables. Search under scroll. So scroll a 5th rank spell. Oh, it's actually a 3rd rank spell, it's 5th level. And we'll edit those. Scroll of lightning bolt. Three of them, and scroll of invisibility. Invisibility. There we are. Okay. Searching the upper floor. Among Parthan's possessions are a +1 striking staff, which he's got, a gold nodule Eon stone, and inner lock chest with a poor lock and trapped with a poison needle. That one there. 3 spell scrolls, GM's choice, and 3 potions, GM choice, 20 gold pieces and 9 silver pieces. So we'll give him the Aeon stone, put it in his inventory. It comes under armor, but we'll put it under treasure. I think it's got Eon. No. Aeon. We'll clear that. There we are. Aeon Stone. Do we have the gold nodule? Yep. What does that do? It's for communicating languages, so that's nice. And people may be able to translate Thessalonian texts from there to help advance the story. That's Parthan stuff. So we're going to add a chest to actor. No, it's not a player character, whoops. Go away. Let's try again. And we'll set the appearance. A token. Loot. Iron chest. Loot wouldn't call it wooden chest. We haven't done a token for that yet, so we will. That seems reasonable. And what's in there? 20 gold pieces, 90 silver pieces. That's done now. We just said GM's choice of the spell scrolls and 3 potions. Let's leave that up to the GM's discretion. If they want to do this beforehand, they can obviously just choose from the compendium pack, as we've shown many times before now. We want to change the token, its appearance, to a small one. So we put it there. Now we did have a trap on the chest, a poison needle trap. It looks like we're creating our own hazard. So here's one that's 16. That's going to be quite some taking down in power, isn't it? Nevertheless, what's this? Stalactites. Nevertheless, let's adapt it. Move it into hazards. And we say the PCs would be 3rd level, so perhaps by this time we could make it a 3rd level hazard. And we can go back to the Archives of Nethys to create a hazard just in the same way as we created a creature. Our rules, GM core, and building hazards. So our first thing is a stealth and disable DC, so we have extreme, high and low. So the hardest thing about the needle is probably finding it, I would say, and then make it a bit easier to disable. So we could have 20 and then 17 to disable once you found it. So there's a good reward for actually searching if the chest has a trap. 20 and 17. So the stealth DC is 20. So what happens here is it confuses bonus with DC. So if we put in 10, it'll add it and get 20. And we'll edit the description. And our disable, we decided DC 17, thievery. The single firing mechanism. And we won't have a routine, we're just going to have a simple hazard. And an action. So we won't have, we'll have a reflex, so we'll get rid of that. So our details, we need to set an attack modifier. So we'll go into our Archives of Nethys again. Minimum proficiency, we'll make it trained to spot it. Defenses, we could make it so that if the rather than disabling the lock, if you smash it up, no, let's have it that they're required to disable, so we just won't worry about defences there. And offence, the damage, so we said 3rd level. So if it's a simple trap, your one attack is probably going to be worse. So it's plus 16, and the simple damage is 2d10 plus 13. DCs there, so I think we'll just make it very simple. It's going to be just doing poison damage rather than actually poisoning the character and requiring ongoing saving throws. So we're going to have plus 16 and 2d10 plus 13 damage, which is quite a lot. So we could add an ability to our actions, edit it, say fire poisoned needle, make that a reaction, and then we edit a bit more with the description. The lock is tampered with a needle fires out striking with a ranged attack action CB below. And then we'll edit that to we should get rid of that and then add a ranged attack. So if we add ranged here, it does nothing, it just defaults to melee. The way we make it range is by editing it. Poison needle, and then traits range. I'm going to say it's 10-foot range, and then close that, and now it's become a ranged attack. So with all that ado, we forgot our stats for the attack, so we better look at them again. Building hazards, just made that visible. We have third level, we wanted plus 16 and 2d10 plus 13 poison damage. And it had a damage partial. And type poison. And just normal. And there we are there. Roll our nasty amount of poison damage there. So that hazard will get added in. And saved. So we've searched the upper floor, we've added the gold nodule Aeon Stone to his equipment, to his inventory, and the +1 striking staff, and in the lock chest, which we've got a poor lock here, so poor lock under this link. This is the link from my text version, which links nicely to Archives of Nethys. The poor lock, which I've got here, poor lock is 2 successful DC 15 thievery checks. Two successful DC 15 thievery checks, and trapped with a poison needle. Discover this, and we don't need the stats there because we've put it in. We made our own hazard. There we go. So that's done the rest of the Sage's Tower. I think we'll stop there. So mainly this episode was creating a creature from scratch and a hazard from scratch using the Archives of Nethys free version of the GM Core, the official rules for building hazards and creatures. So thanks very much, and speak to you next time. Bye.